Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you're having an amazing day. Let's get right into the stories. The first story is titled, Mother Changed the Locks While I Was Out, Tries to Marry Me Off the Next Day. I'm 20F. I went out on a Friday for a few hours with some friends. Just some shopping and catching up. I haven't seen some of them in the last 2 years due to COVID when we used to hang out almost every week. And I'm leaving the country in a few weeks, so we took this opportunity too, as a catch-up and farewell party. I was out from late afternoon to about 9 to 10 p.m. when I got home. I took out my keys to unlock the gate, but it won't fit. I tried to turn the key around, yes, like a USB, thinking it might fit the other way, but still could not fit. I called my mother, she didn't pick up. Called my grandmother, who lives with me, but she was out with her friends as well, and won't be home anytime soon. At this point, I was pissed. My mother already burnt a couple of my work pants the day before because I refused to wear a dress for work. My line of work requires me to move around a lot, so a dress or office skirt was not suited for my environment. I shook the gate, but no one was home. So I picked the lock. I opened the metal gate after a few tries. Luckily, the wooden door behind it was not locked. The neighbors did call the police, and of course I had to show them I actually lived there and was my legal address. I took some essentials and went to stay at my friend's house for the night because I couldn't lock the door back and I didn't feel safe in the house without a locked door. The next day, my grandmother and I were invited to go to a pre-wedding event. It was kind of a meeting the elders and engaging party/ceremony at a cafe. My mother only sent me this address in time for it. It was perfectly normal for my grandmother to be invited to these things via my mother. My grandmother doesn't know how to use a phone other than basic functions like calling. We showed up on time to the cafe and were escorted to a booth-type seat at the corner of the cafe. The booth already had a lady, mid-40s to 50s, and a guy. I assumed she was the mother and the guy was her son. The moment we sat down, the lady took out a calendar and notepads filled with lists of flower arrangements, color schemes, menus, dresses, hairstyles, etc. She introduced her son, who was 28 by the way, told me what he does for a living, what he studies, and where. She thanked me for agreeing to marry him. I looked at her, then to her son, then to the wedding planners and notes. Then did it finally register that this was for my wedding. My grandmother was pissed, to say the least. I apologized to the lady and said there must be some kind of misunderstanding between us because I came to attend someone's engagement party, not plan my own. And added I was only 20 this year. My grandmother then rudely asked why she thought that I would be marrying her son. The lady replied her mother contacted me and said her daughter was looking for a partner and husband to settle down, so me, could move out. My grandmother calmly said to the lady that she had been lied to and I was not going to be getting married anytime soon. She said her son seems nice and hopes he finds someone who likes him to marry in the future, but it was not going to be me. We got up and left. When we got home, I found my things stuffed in a black plastic bag beside the door. My grandmother opened the door and told me to bring my stuff in. The moment I stepped through the door, my mother yelled that she put so much effort into finding a guy who would take a girl like me to marry, and that I should just be grateful because she didn't just marry me off to an older dude, and I should be happy she found someone my age. She told me I embarrassed her because the mother called her and told her what she did was not okay and to not do it again without even asking or informing me properly. My grandmother started to shout at my mother in Cantonese, which resulted in them being in a heated argument for almost 30 minutes, and my grandmother kicked out my mother, which of course she moaned about and cried about before leaving. The next story is titled, Person Impersonating Owner's Spouse Attempts to Terminate Me Leading to Their Ban from Food Delivery Service. It was a beautiful morning, and I was excited to be starting my new job as a delivery driver for a pizza place. I had moved to a new town, and this job was perfect for me. It was a chance to get to know the place, meet new people, and get paid for it. I had heard some rumors about a customer named Karen, but I didn't think much of it. I had dealt with difficult customers before, and I knew how to handle them. I didn't want to judge anyone before I had met them, so I went to work with a positive attitude. My first delivery of the day was to Karen's house. I was feeling a little nervous, but I was determined to make a good impression. I arrived at her house, and she opened the door with a scowl on her face. I introduced myself and handed her the pizza, but I quickly realized that something was wrong. "I ordered pepperoni pizza, not cheese," Karen yelled at me. I apologized and explained that there must have been a mistake. I offered to go back to the store and get the right pizza for her, but she wasn't having it. She started screaming at me and telling me that I needed to give her a discount for the inconvenience. I tried to explain that I couldn't do that, but she wasn't having it. That's when she dropped the bombshell. "Do you know who I am?" she asked. "I'm the owner's wife, and I can get you fired for this." I knew right away that she was lying. The owner was a single man, and I'd seen him around the shop several times. But I didn't want to argue with her, so I just apologized and left. The next day, I went into work and was immediately called into the manager's office. Karen had called and complained about me, and the manager was taking her side. I tried to explain that she was lying, but he wouldn't hear it. He told me that I was fired and to pack my things and leave. I was devastated. I had just started this job, and I had been fired for something I didn't do. I felt helpless and lost. I left the shop with my head hanging low, not knowing what to do next. As I was walking out of the shop, feeling defeated, I saw Karen walking in. She had a smug look on her face and was clearly enjoying the fact that she had gotten me fired. But just then, the real owner walked in. He was furious when he heard what had happened and demanded to know what was going on. I explained everything to him, and he was shocked. He told Karen to leave and never come back. But he didn't stop there. He called up all the other restaurants in town and warned them about Karen. He told them not to serve her and to ban her from all food delivery services. And they listened. Karen was banned from every restaurant in town. She couldn't get food delivered to her house, and she couldn't go out to eat. It was a harsh punishment, but it was what she deserved. She learned that treating people with respect is the only way to get what you want. But my story doesn't end there. I got a call from the owner of a local restaurant who had heard about what had happened. He offered me a job as a delivery driver, and I happily accepted. It was a better job than the one I had before, and I was grateful for the opportunity, but the drama wasn't over yet. Months later, I was making a delivery to a new customer when I heard someone yelling. It was Karen. She had managed to sneak into the restaurant and was causing a scene. She was shouting at the staff and causing a disturbance. It was clear that she hadn't learned her lesson. I tried to avoid her and make the delivery quickly, but she saw me and started coming towards me. "You!" she yelled. "You're the one who got me banned from all the restaurants in town. You ruined my life." I tried to explain that it wasn't my fault, but she wouldn't listen. She started pushing me and hitting me. I was in shock. I had never been attacked before, and I didn't know what to do. That's when the restaurant owner stepped in. He had heard the commotion and had come over to see what was going on. When he saw Karen attacking me, he called the police. Karen was arrested for assault and disorderly conduct. It turned out that she had been causing problems at other restaurants as well. She had been banned from several other towns, not just ours. She was facing serious charges, and it was clear that she had finally gone too far. As for me, I was shaken up but grateful that the restaurant owner had come to my rescue. He offered to pay for my medical bills and gave me some time off to recover. I was touched by his kindness and knew that I had made the right decision in taking this job. Months went by and Karen's trial was coming up. I was called to testify as a witness, and I was nervous about facing her again. But when I got to the courthouse, I saw that Karen had changed. She was no longer angry and aggressive. She looked sad and defeated. She apologized to me for what she had done and said that she was going through a tough time. Her husband had left her and she had lost her job. She had been taking her frustration out on other people and had let her anger get the best of her. I could see that she was genuinely sorry, and I felt a sense of compassion for her. I testified in court, but I didn't ask for any harsh punishment. I knew that Karen had learned her lesson, and I didn't want to see her suffer any more than she already had. In the end, Karen was ordered to do community service and attend anger management classes. She was also ordered to pay restitution to the restaurants she had caused trouble at. It was a fair sentence, and I hoped that Karen would be able to turn her life around. Years went by, and I lost touch with Karen. But one day, I received a letter in the mail. It was from her, and it said that she had turned her life around. She had started a support group for people who had gone through tough times, and she was helping others to find their way back to a positive life. I was touched by her letter and felt proud of her for making a change. It was a happy ending to a story that had started out so negatively. Karen had shown that even the most difficult people can change if they're given the right support and encouragement. The next story is titled, "My GF Got an Illegal Airbnb Ring in Her Apartment Complex Busted." We live in a new and small apartment complex, only 40 units within 2 buildings. It's very low-key and within walking distance to our downtown. It's very affordable for how convenient a location it is. Back in September, we noticed the vacant unit beside us was getting moved into by a new tenant with furniture, decor, etc. One weekend, not long after moving in, we heard what sounded like a little party with music and loud voices well past midnight. We heard a lot of people coming in and out of the front door, but letting the door slam each time to where it shook the walls. Maybe they were having a housewarming party or a friend's get-together at the new place. So we brushed it under the rug as a one-off incident. For the next few weeks, we noticed a variety of people coming in and out of the apartment, and none of them seemed to be the same individuals. Parking also started to become much more busy than usual as well, as the cars kept changing, so something seemed off. My GF started working night shifts for her new job not long after the neighboring apartment became occupied. She's a light sleeper and noticed that all throughout the morning and before going to work, the neighbor's door was always slamming and shaking the walls. She understands that people are active in the day and she can't ask people to cater to her night shift needs, but she felt the constant slamming of doors was not only disruptive but unusual behavior. One particular morning was the straw that broke the camel's back. She had finally had enough because of the effect it was having on her sleep. She wanted to see who was slamming the door. She heard the door slamming around 10:30 a.m. and got up and witnessed people walking to their car with suitcases and leaving. Soon after, a man arrived and pulled up the front doormat and retrieved a key and let two women with cleaning supplies into the apartment. Each time they entered or left, the door would slam and shake the wall. Seeing this, she searched Airbnb and almost immediately found the rental unit next door. Same floor plans, wall paint, flooring, etc. To our surprise and anger, we found a total of 4 listings in our apartment complex alone on the host's profile. That's 10% of the apartments in our buildings. Through the listings, we found the individual's LinkedIn and business website. On his website, he claims that he does something called retail arbitrage. Essentially, this is renting out a long-term rental on short-term basis, lease an apartment and rent it on Airbnb for profit. This can be done legally with the landlord's permission. The lease agreement does not allow for subletting or short-term rentals. They were renting out 3 of the 4 ground-end units offered, units with unique floor plans. The 4th unit was a handicap accessible unit. That's right. This man and his business partner leased an apartment meant for accommodating people with disabilities with the intention of using it for his little short-term business empire he was trying to build. Our city and region, like in other places, has been feeling the squeeze on apartment availability, and these dickheads are contributing to the problem. It was at this point we took this personally, as we had our own problems dealing with apartment availability, waitlists, disappointment, and frustration. My GF called the leasing office and notified them that the neighboring unit is being rented out on Airbnb, and asked if that was allowed, to which the office gave an empathetic absolutely not, and asked for the listings to be sent to them in an email. Later that day, the office called her back and said they notified the tenant that they will be inspecting the apartments the following afternoon. After the inspection was completed, the office notified that they had sent a cease and desist document of any rental activities outside the lease agreement or face eviction. They also informed us that you should not have any more problems concerning the matter, and if you do, don't hesitate to give us a call. Now, this asshole has 4 leases he's stuck paying $1,500 a month for and can't make any more money on through Airbnb. He's bleeding money at the tune of about $6,000 a month. His only legal options are to continue paying for them or to break the lease and vacate. Last week, we watched as movers emptied out the apartments. I'm sure they lost deposits and/or were penalized for breaking the leases. A very expensive lesson for being a greedy entrepreneur. Don't be dickheads, folks. Also, don't piss off a night shifter trying to sleep. The last story is titled, Entitled Woman Decides a Private Farm is a Petting Zoo. Now, we originally just bought the house, but after talking with the previous owner, he offered to sell us his small farm and the animals there. He's older and can't really care for them. We're still in the process of getting all papers in order, but my partner has already started taking care of the farm. Our daughter, Lily, is absolutely in heaven. There's 2 new dogs that she just adores, and her favorite animal is a big draft horse that is the most gentle thing we've ever seen. I'm gonna keep working from home, and my partner will be retiring way early to be a stay-at-home dad and take care of the farm. Now that's for background. The real start is coming. Not even an hour ago, we had a lovely specimen of the entitled genus basically jump the farm's fence with 7 kids in Scouts uniforms. Not sure what troop. My fiancé noticed them and asked what they were doing and that the farm is private property. The woman's response was just priceless. We saw the little ducks and chicken, and we want to pet them. It's clearly a petting zoo since they're here, she pointed at Lily and I while we were brushing the horse. We tried to explain we were the owners, even though technically we're just caretakers for now, and that she was trespassing. Cue the biggest adult tantrum I heard. She demanded we let her in for free and give the kids free rides on the pony. Yeah, not gonna happen. Draft horses are giants, and while they're gentle and could technically be ridden, a fall could cause serious injury, especially on 10-ish-year-old kids. My partner was amazing at dealing with her and simply said she had to leave or we would call the police. She kept shrieking that she would get him fired and that she was going to post a terrible review. A few cursed words even added for dramatic effect. We were seriously about to call the police when we actually got very lucky. The old owner was bringing us some vet papers we needed to sign for the animals and saw the whole drama. He tore into her and made her leave in minutes. Then we went on with our business. My daughter, however, had the best input to the whole thing. "Mommy, I think that lady is strong in the dumb side." I blame her dad for that pun. Also, if anyone is curious, no, there's no petting zoos in the area we live in. Just a minor update, this happened a while ago and I forgot to add it. I tried contacting the scouts about this woman and they were lovely. They took details, but were sincere that without a number and with just a general physical description, there wasn't much that could be done. They would still make sure to tell all leaders that my property was not open to the public. I told them if they wanted to go to the creek nearby that is in our property, or if they had an emergency near me, they were always welcome to ask first. I won't say no, but the farm and animals are of course out of the question for any kind of interaction. I did see this woman again at the groceries. This is a really small area and she didn't glance my way. So nothing too big. Thank you for watching. I would really appreciate it if you could like the video and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. We'll see you again tomorrow.